Today we welcome to our show amazing mentor, Lt Colonel Sundeep Khatri, military vet. He has 21 plus years of experience in strategic leadership, program management, SCM, TQM, and inventory management. A strong analytical, quantitative, communicative reasoning, and data metrics application skill to lead large cross-functional teams across diverse projects. It's a pleasure to have you on our show. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Gaurav.
So tell us about your childhood and what all hobbies did you enjoy as a child?
I come from a third generation of military personnel. My grandfather was in the army. My father was from the Air Force, and I have grown up in a military environment from my childhood days. And after my class 12th, I joined National Defense Academy and got into the armed forces. Talking about my school days, I studied in a Kendriya Vidyalaya, partly in some Air Force schools, and kept on shifting places because my father was in Air Force and he kept moving from place A to place B. So shifting from one place to another, making new friends was part of the game. I was a decent student. I was good at games and sports. I grew up playing hockey. My grandfather played hockey and my father played hockey. So kind of grew up in a hockey kind of environment. I generally play all games, and moreover when I came to armed forces, that way life has been good and God has been kind. And life in army was always a great fun. And now I have recently taken a voluntary retirement and I'm presently settled in Delhi.
So you never thought of starting any other career apart from army?
As I just brought about, since I grew up in a military environment, so that was the first thing that occurred to me. Though I did have other options when I did my class 12th, I got into engineering college. Rather, I cleared an entrance exam of merchant navy and a hotel management entrance exam. So there were 3-4 things that one does after his class 12th, and invariably God was kind and I got into NDL. And since it was a familiar territory, I had a past background into that. So opted for a familiar genre.
So how was your journey while you were preparing to become an
Unlike other jobs in army, either you are cut out for it or you are not cut out for it. And there is an academic portion which you are tested in an entrance exam, and thereafter there is a service selection board. Now there is nothing much that you can prepare about service selection board because they look out for those traits which one carries from his parents. Things like honesty, integrity, love for the motherland, doing things the right way, not taking shortcuts in life. These are some things which are not taught. These are part and parcel of your personality, and so one doesn't really prepare for his interview per se. As for academics, as I rightly said, I was a decent student, so part of my preparation for 12th board exams, and this was taken care of.
So any second thought as your career, as you have told that you are the third generation from your family.
Mhm.
So was there any second thought or ever came to your mind, okay, if I'm in army, I will do that?
When I joined army, I was like 18 years old, so it was too young to take a call on these issues. Now, as I rightly said, I got into a familiar workplace, familiar genre. But yes, now that I'm like 44 years of age, and there are various avenues around. My parents are close to 70, and I'm the only son. So I have taken a call on hanging my boots and settling at one place and looking after my parents. So yes, there are times when second thoughts do occur, and this is one such occasion.
So what was your parents' reaction when you joined as an officer?
They were happy, but it was unexpected lines.
So when you joined, how was your early days as an officer?
It was 4 years of training, followed by your commissioning and your service in the army. Training, as is always, National Defense Academy is a tough place to be. Out of close to about 50 lakhs to a crore people who appear for the entrance exam, only a handful of about 350 people make it to that place, and the place is grueling. The routine is tough, and the best of the people who come from very soft families, brought up in a very soft environment. Rather, India is called as a place where boys are turned into men. So you enter with little bit of mustaches, and by the time you come out, you are like properly shaven and a young soldier, a young officer. So that is what a National Defense Academy changes you from boys to men. And then we go to Indian Military Academy for a year. So it's about a 4 years training. That routine is so tough, you never get to think of everything. You are living in present. You are doing things on the very instance. There is no time to think about future. So these 4 years, they fly off like anything. And yes, thereafter, once you are commissioned, then your life is relatively easy. But again, you are posted to generally on commissioning, you're posted to the tough places, border areas. There is never a time to think about 3, 4 years in the future. Life has generally been about doing things in the present, and that's the best way to be. My simple point of advice is do not think too much into future. Dwell on your present because it is the only thing in your control. Do your best in the present circumstances and do not be unduly worried too much about your future.
So, where was your first posting as an officer?
My first posting was in a place called Dhana in Sagar, district of MP. That place was like 20 kilometers from Dhana or from Sagar railway station. A secluded place in the middle of nowhere, extreme cold and extreme hot. So a totally barren, brazen place. I have very fine memories of the small little place.
What all department have you handled in your course of career?
I am from a department called Electronics and Mechanical Engineers. Now, this department looks into maintaining all the military equipment, whether you talk about tanks, vehicles, guns, radio sets, night vision devices, thermal imagers, a rifle, pistol, rocket launcher, name a thing. Whenever these things go faulty, they are brought to a workshop. The way you take your vehicles and all to a service station, so similarly, we have workshops. In our department, we handle workshops. You are in charge of a workshop wherein you have different technicians. Whenever an equipment is purchased, whether I buy a tank or a gun for Indian Army for some XYZ crore rupees for a period of say about 20, 25, 30 years. So when the government has paid the price for this equipment for 30 years, our endeavor is that it remains serviceable through the entire lifespan is the mandate of the department that I was in. So my job essentially has been planning repairs and recoveries and keeping the equipment operationally worthy.
Who was your mentor in life?
Essentially, the mentors were the seniors in the armed forces only. So there were quite a few. I remember a gentleman called General Ashwini Sharma. General Ashwini Sharma was one of the finest officers I've served with, and I owe a lot of my success to him. The way he has groomed me into the person that I am today.
So, what all challenges did you face in your career?
Career in army is a challenge every day. Life in army has got two kinds of things which are planned and things which are unplanned. So handling unplanned and preparing for planned things is a part and parcel of our life. When I got commissioned, that was in the year 1998 December, and you would recall 99 beginning around May was Operation Kargil, Operation Vijay in Kargil Heights. That is just the time when President Musharraf had taken over in Pakistan and this misadventure was planned. The first thing immediately when we joined, the first thing that came our way. Second thing was, you recall in the year 2000, there was an attack on Indian Parliament. Rather, 2001 December was the attack on the Parliament, and 2001 December we were mobilized in entire 2002 from January to December. I was in Rajasthan. This was my first year of marriage also incidentally. So I recall my first anniversary was somewhere in the deserts. I was spending. Life has been good. A lot of challenges. I've been to Kashmir twice. I've been to East, Northeast twice, and a lot of lessons learned from these places. And even other than field, other peace stations also there's a lot of learning value. When you say things like supply chain management and project management and all these matrices, they're part and parcel of the engineering job that we had in. So there's a lot of learning value. At times on technical front, and there are times on administrative front.
Which was the most difficult posting in your career?
Challenging, yes. I would say one of my tenures in Assam, where I raised a new unit from scratch. When you are asked to raise an establishment from scratch for about 500 people unit, so there are a lot of challenges. Firstly, and in a counter-insurgency area. So first and foremost thing is going and getting hold of a piece of land, securing that piece of land, arranging for the posting of the manpower to your place, creation of infrastructure, then telling the entire people around whom you are connected with, yes, this is the place where we have been raised, and for this mandate, like a workshop is raised to support a particular formation. You are raised to prepare the equipment of formation. So intimating the formation, yes, you come from this place. Arranging of funds, creation of policies for expenditure of those funds, and audits, standard operating procedures on everything. So creation of an establishment from scratch is a Herculean effort and a lot of learning value in that. So that was, I guess, one of my most challenging and interesting assignment.
So any moment in your career where you thought that okay, I should quit now? Any incidents?
Well, not before the recent one when I took a call on moving on, and that was the time when my father had a heart attack, and we got him treated, and that is when I realized he is like my father being himself a soldier, so he's pretty fit. So moment this thing occurred, and I realized he's on the wrong side of 70 now. So that is when I said, as the only son, it is my duty to hang my boots and do my bit for them in the last few years of their age. This is the only time, not before this. Things have been good before the God has been kind.
So what advice would you like to give to young officers?
This is a great place to be. Uh, One must do a bit for the country, and this is a great organization to grow. It has a fantastic lifestyle. Life in army has been like a honeymoon, not even a day of regret on that account. Life has been extremely good, a lot of learning value. Today, whatever I am, I owe it completely to the organization because when I joined the organization, as I just said, I was just about 18 years old. So my entire growth has been in this organization. This is a wonderful place to be, and I would encourage all the youngsters watching this show to look at army as a career. I assure you, lifetime of achievement and a satisfying lifestyle. You know, while in service and even after service, it molds you as a different individual. It molds you as a different person altogether.
So things the students should keep in mind while preparing to become an officer or while preparing to join.
Few things that one can keep in mind is in the present day scenario, as I see, the attention span has reduced because of this digitization. The attention span has grossly reduced, and today we are in an era of instant gratification. You want a thing, just Google and it's there. But whenever you want to appreciate a problem, what is expected of you is to rise to a vantage point, look at things beyond obvious, whatever is not visible to a naked eye or to apparent eye when I'm standing in the midst of chaos. So what is expected is rise to vantage point, look at things in the future, plan and appreciate all the hurdles, and then draw a long-term plan and then execute it. So don't look at quick fix solutions in life. So whenever you are learning a thing, of course, today I want a particular formula, you Google and it is there readily available for you. But point is, you may not know the formula, but if you understand the background behind it, the whys behind it. Anybody who is aspiring to join this career, I would say, learn to question things. Question, and question till the time you don't find a rational a reason or a logic behind a particular thing. Before you wish to make any change in any system, always appreciate, always try and find out why things are going the way they are going now. Believe that somebody else would have put his head behind this entire issue and come out to a solution that is being implemented today. So before you make any changes or recommend any changes, walk into the shoes of your predecessor for a while, understand the problem, and then make changes. So these are a few things that I would say. And if you really want to become an officer, have a logical thinking, have a good lifestyle, be healthy, eat healthy, sleep early, and read. Reading is an habit which has taken a backseat. Even today, I have one book per week. I finish it off, and you may read anything that you like. Reading and watching a video are two different ways of appreciating a same. A story written in a book will be appreciated from your perspective, and what you're watching on a video or in a movie is the director's perspective. So learn to develop your own perspective on things.
So nowadays, it has been seen that young generation are every time trying to find shortcuts in life. So what would be your advice to young generation whether they should keep on finding shortcuts or they should take the long route which is sustainable.
People who are looking at shortcuts, I would just say things keep changing. Those digital cameras were replaced by phone, photocopiers were replaced by phone. Any small little skill set which you acquire will be replaced by something else. But what will always go with you is a logical way of thinking. And it takes years to develop a logical way of thinking. Finding a method in madness when things are chaotic, finding a pattern in the chaos is a skill one must work on. See, for simple reason, if I say 2, 4, 8, 16, somebody will say 32. So this is because they are continuously multiplying by 2 or raising 2 to the power of something. So there is a pattern in it. The moment I get a pattern in something, this pattern can easily be replicated by a machine. Today, I put a calculator behind the job, it will do the same job. So computation powers, if you really want, their machines can do that. So don't spend your time and effort in computation power. But yes, a logic, this is happening like this. Logic takes years to develop. So shortcuts will give you a small little skill set which may work for a while, but a logic will hold you in good stead in times to come.
So the last question, basically, what is that one line that will define you?
Happy go lucky, take life as it comes, eat well, sleep well, play hard. Play hard, be thankful to the Lord Almighty for the present, and enjoy the moment that you are in.
Thank you very much, sir, for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you and the advices which you have given to your generation. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Gaurav. It was a pleasure indeed for me as well.
Thank
Jai
you.
Hind.